Welcome to my new video. My name is Björn Friedrich and today I'm here to talk with you about the single most important thing you should focus on if you want to train Jiu Jitsu not just for years but for decades. And when I'm talking about training Jiu Jitsu, I don't mean just doing it and repeating it. I mean excelling at it, getting better with the years, getting more mature and more sophisticated over the years. So if you really want to take Jiu Jitsu in your 40s and 50s, this video is for you. I started Jiu Jitsu 27 years ago. I was a 17-year-old kid and I was amazed by watching the first UFC. And I remember training with some of my friends in my garage, and we don't have a teacher. In Germany in these years, there were no teachers in Jiu Jitsu, you know. So we bought a few video cassettes. And I remember saying to my friend, hey, if we buy all these cassettes, then we know the whole Jiu Jitsu. And then we know it all. 27 years later, I trained with a lot of teachers. I watched a lot of videos for sure. And I don't think I already got it, you know? I mean, for me, Jiu Jitsu is every day something new. Every day when I step on the mat, I learn something. I understand more about it. And I feel this will continue forever. But to be able to do that and to be able to grow over the years, even when you get older, in my opinion, it is important that you're focusing on the right things. Because in Jiu Jitsu, you become what you're focusing on. So if you focus on strengths, for example, you will become a strong guy and you will do strength training, you will do Jiu Jitsu, and you will be a strong Jiu Jitsu fighter. When you're focusing on speed, you will be a fast Jiu Jitsu fighter. When you're focusing on flexibility, you will be a flexible Jiu Jitsu fighter. You know, it's all about what you are focusing on. But when you are planning to train Jiu Jitsu for not just 2 or 3 years, but for 20 or 30 years, and you want to excel in it, you should ask yourself a very, very important question. And that question is, when I focus on a certain attribute, how long can I excel in this attribute? In other words, how long I can become stronger and stronger and stronger as a Jiu Jitsu fighter? Or how long can I become faster and faster and faster? So let's say I'm 20, I'm in great shape, you know, can I excel being a strong and fast fighter for the next 20 years? I don't think so. So if you think short term, if you think, hey, I wanted to be a world champion as soon as I can, then of course, short-term thinking, doing whatever you can, speed, explosiveness, power, that's all great. But if you are thinking long-term, if you want to excel in this art for many, many years and decades, you have to think about which things can I make better for a long time? Which things are not too much related or depending too much on use? And for me, there is one thing, one aspect, one idea I follow for the last, 15 years or something. And that's the concept of being effortless. Being effortless is the key to excel. Because like I said, you become what you are focusing on. And when you are focusing on becoming more and more effortless in what you are doing, that means you're not playing the game of strengths, and you're not playing the game of speed, and you're not playing the game of flexibility. But you're working on getting the job done efficiently and with less effort possible. And being effortless, you know, sounds maybe a little lazy, but it has nothing to do with being lazy. It has all to do with your body and your process of living and aging. Why? Because your body in your 20s is pretty strong and even more resilient. Your body in your 30 and 40 and 50s can still be very strong, can still be very explosive, can still be very fast. But guess the news, one thing is missing, and that's resilience. You know, when you are in your 40s or even older, you're not so resilient. You cannot go with your head through the wall and just shake it off and go on the mat the next day. No, you will feel it in your joints. You will feel it in your body. So if you are focusing on strong and powerful, hey, great, you can be strong and powerful in your 40s. But you pay the price. And the price is you get injuries. And when you get injured, you can't train. And when you can't train, you can't excel. And in a long-term perspective, you know, these little injuries, or sometimes bigger injuries, unfortunately, these will add up. And they will take away your ability to be the strongest guy in the room, or the fastest guy in the room, or the most flexible guy in the room. So being effortless means doing everything with the least amount of strength and explosiveness. Doing it with the least amount of effort. Doing it as efficient as I can be. And that means chances of wear and tear, chances of injuries, chances of destroying myself through extremely intense, powerful workouts are reduced. I don't say you never get injured. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can be effortless, you don't need to take the risks of being fast and explosive. When it comes to being effortless, I always enjoy watching the YouTube videos of Jean-Jacques Machado. This guy is in his 50s, but he is effortless. The way he rolls, the way he plays around with his students is amazing. You know, he aged in a way every jiu-jitsu fighter should age. You know, he became better and more effortless. And when you look at him rolling, you can exactly see this. He's not the fastest guy, he's not the strongest guy, but he is extremely effortless in what he's doing and yet reaching his goals. When it comes to my own training, I always have to remember a story that happened 20 years ago to me. It was December 2002, and I met my teacher, Roy Harris. I was hosting a seminar here in Germany with him, and I remember we had a seminar break. And I was 25 years old, a blue belt, extremely motivated, extremely athletic, 210, 215 pounds. And Roy was about 42 or something, my age, a little younger, like I'm right now. And in the break of the seminar, he asked me, "Hey Björn, do you want to roll?" What a question! Of course I wanted to roll. I mean, I had rolled with a few other guys and I felt pretty good. And I was strong and I was athletic and I didn't even think about age or something. So we started to roll and Roy put me on my back, passed my guard, gave me a pressure I never had felt before in my life and tapped me out. We started again, second time, third time, fourth time. Same result. Passed my guard, smashed me with pressure, tapped me out. This was amazing. I remember my students watching me and they couldn't believe, but I was smiling. I was smiling because I had found my teacher and I had realized in this day, I had realized that it's not about who is the strongest. It's not about who is the fastest. It's about who can do it in a perfect technical way. And if you are effortless, age doesn't play a role. That's what I've learned. If you are effortless, age doesn't play a role. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking here about the ADCC or the UFC where you compete at the highest levels with, you know, chemically enhanced athletes. They are all on the top of their game and they have, you know, Übermensch strengths, you know. That's a different thing. But talking about personal development, talking about normal average human beings, you can be fighting in a way that is not so much depending on physical strength. You know, when I call it effortless, like I said, it has nothing to do with being lazy. Because being effortless actually requires a lot of effort. Not in terms of speed and power, but in terms of thinking, in terms of training, in terms of feeling, in terms of taking out their own ego. Because, you know, as a teacher, one of the most often things I see when people roll is people want to get the job done. What does it mean? It means I want to get the tap. That's all that matters. Get the tap and that's it. Don't get tapped and tap the other guy. And then don't think about it. But if you are like this, if you think just going on the mat and you roll and you tap the guy and you don't get tapped and that's it, you will never become effortless. Because being effortless means being critical with yourself. Looking at yourself and saying, hey, that was a strength move. Hey, that's only possible because I'm 20 pounds heavier. That's only possible because I have more functional strength, because I train jiu-jitsu twice as long as the guy I tapped. Or I'm 10, 15 years younger than the guy I tapped. You know? If you want to become effortless, it's important to monitor yourself. That not only in sparring, not only in rolling, also in technical training. It's not about getting the reps done. It's not about repeating a technique 1,000 times, mindless, and then you think, oh great. No, it's about researching it. It's about feeling your own body. Feeling if this move is smooth, is effortless, or it's just, you know, a strength move. You know, I always say it feels round or it doesn't feel round. So you know, that's something we say in German. But you know, if you are training jiu-jitsu and you are monitoring yourself for many years, you will get this feeling. You know, you will try a technique and you will say, hey, that was just a strength move. That's not perfect yet. I need to change the mechanics. I need to change the tension in my body. You know, and becoming effortless is a real big process. And today I'm not talking about the single little steps you have to do or the single little steps I did or I'm still doing. I'm just talking about the whole concept of being effortless. And like I said, one of the most important things is to monitor yourself. And especially, you know, when you train with smaller guys or weaker guys or older guys or even younger guys when you know, depends on. So then monitor yourself. And look directly about how much effort you used and try to change that. Don't muddle through. Don't get the job done. Look how to get the job done in the most efficient way. I remember when I was younger, I had always smaller training partners, you know. I mean really small, 30 pounds, 40 pounds lighter than myself. And if I would have crushed them like crazy, and I did in the beginning, you know, every one of us, you know, we are all, you know, we love to get the tap, and that's something you have to learn over the years. But pretty early in my jiu-jitsu career, I started not tapping these guys. I started to play around, starting to monitor myself. And when I get older, and when I start doing other martial arts that helped me a lot in discovering my own abilities, my own physical abilities, then I really got even more into it. And when today I train jiu-jitsu, when I train with smaller guys, you know, I mean really smaller guys, hey, I can get a great workout because I do not kill them, I do not crush them, I do not destroy them with my physical abilities. I play exactly on their physical level. And I try to be effortless and technically, and I try to learn what I can do better. And you know, when something doesn't work, I let it happen. You know, I don't power through, I just let it happen. And then I look for another opportunity to do it with less strength and less power. And that is the way you not only can learn from with smaller guys or, you know, weaker guys, it's the way that gives you a very different jiu-jitsu. Because if you are used to not using strength, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, because we have to be realistic, but it doesn't matter that much if someone is stronger. Because you're not training to go through his power. You're not training to break his resistance. You're not forcing your will on him. You're used to take the strengths and play and work around their strengths. To look for the way of least resistance. To look for the way of being effortless. And when you train that with smaller guys and with guys of your size, and you know, it doesn't matter if someone is heavier. You still can do it. Because it's not, like I said, you're not training to break through them. You're learning to deal with that strength in a soft and easy and, you know, playful way. And, you know, when I look at some of the old guys, like I said, Jean-Jacques Machado in his 50s, or some other guys, or my teacher, or Harris, who has a slightly different style, it's a little bit different than the other guys, but whenever I look at someone who is older and still in the game, it's always because he's very playful and very technical. I remember training with my teacher's teacher, Grandmaster Joe Morera. I think it's an 8th degree right now, 8th degree black belt. I rolled with him when I was 30 and he was 50 or even 51, I don't remember. Anyway, I was at the peak of my physical fitness career. I was throwing around 88-pound kettlebells and doing all that shit and injuring myself shortly after that. But anyway, at that time I was in pretty good shape. And I rolled with Joe and he just played with me. And he just tapped me and he played and he tapped. And it was just fun for him. I mean, he got a good sweat and he was, you know, it was intense for him because, you know, it was rolling for an hour. But he tapped me like nothing, you know. It was no strength, it was no power, it was not explosiveness. He was just doing it, you know, and that was amazing. And when I asked him, I say, Joe, how many times you roll competitively and how many times you just play? And he said, oh, I'm just playing. Most of the time I'm just playing, you know. And these things are amazing. And another example is I met Rickson on a seminar and I had the chance to feel his mount, you know, both from the top and from the bottom. And I remember he put me in the bottom and was on top of me and he said to me I should do the elbow knee escape. And he was just sitting there, perfect structure, perfect connection, and I couldn't escape. He was not going crazy on me, he was not using his strengths, he was not squeezing me, no. He was just effortless, but perfect. And I couldn't escape. And then we switched roles. And he was down and he said, you know, control me the way you want. And I put my mount on him and he just escaped. Same way, effortlessly. No power, no explosiveness, just out of the position. So these incidents shaped my idea of jiu-jitsu. And like I said, it's not easy to be effortless. It's not lazy to be effortless. It's hard work. But it's smart work, you know? It's not going on the mat and just fighting and banging it out and, you know, sucking it up and being tough and, you know, and whatever. No, it's not. It's a complete different level, different world. You want to go into a smart world. You want to go into a very difficult world with little details. You don't play a game of feet or meter. You play a game of centimeters, of half an inch or something. It's a very fine game with fine motor skills. And that is the key to becoming better with age. Like wine, you know, getting better with age. That should be jiu-jitsu. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, age is a reality for all of us. So, of course it happens. We don't fight with 60 in the ADCC or with 60 in the UFC, of course, because our bodies are different. But technically speaking, you should with 60 better than with 20. You should be 60 better than with 30. Because you should have a better understanding, and not just understanding, also a better physical feeling for jiu-jitsu than you had with 30. If not, honestly, no offense, but then you wasted 30 years of your life. Because, you know, if you are training smart, and if you are recognizing the little things, and if you are recognizing the little things that are going wrong and immediately replacing them with more better suiting options, then you have a constant change. And that is, in my opinion, that is the real beauty of Jiu-Jitsu. It's not just being on the mat and doing the same stuff over and over again. It's being on the mat and excelling. It's being on the mat and growing. It's being on the mat and becoming a better fighter. Because Jiu-Jitsu is a living art. Jiu-Jitsu is not like it was 95 and it's not like in 2005. It's changing. You can argue about how much it is changing, and I'm not the person who say, oh, modern Jiu-Jitsu is perfect and old school is shit. I don't say that. I love both. And I have, I do stuff from here and stuff from there, but that's a different topic. But anyway, it is changing and you should change. And it is growing and you should grow. Because then you really feel how amazing Jiu-Jitsu can be. And what Jiu-Jitsu can do for you as a person. So I think that is enough for today. I hope you like it. I hope you understand why I've called my YouTube channel Effortless Jiu-Jitsu. Because that is what is my main goal behind all my activities. And even when I teach Jiu-Jitsu in seminars, or when I teach in my school, or when I teach on my video series, or when I teach on my YouTube channel, it's all about being effortless. Nothing is about being brute or extremely powerful or explosive. It's all about being effortless. That's my passion, Everyone is different, but that's my passion. And if you like it, if you want to go the same path, I'm happy that I can maybe give you some inspiration, some ideas, and some motivation to walk the walk by yourself. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you next time. And before I forget, of course, please check out my BJJ Fanatics videos. There are a lot of series out there, and there are new series coming. It will be a great fall, trust me. And of course, check out my sponsor X Marshall, and you can get 10% off your order with the coupon code Björn Friedrich, and you support my work, you support my channel when you get something there. And give me a like, give me a subscription. My YouTube channel is just over 4,000 subscribers. I'm very happy, but there is more coming, and I believe we can get much more. We can get much more subscribers in the future. So thank you very much, and see you next time.